Okay, so I made a lot of offers one day. This is kind of what the basis of his system is. And I mean, really, this basis of doing any deals, you just got to pump out a ton of offers,
Lots of offers,
or
huh?
you're going to be settling for ones that not the best deals. So anyway, I found this person on Zillow, and they had been lowering their price. They started off at like they were asking 39.9. It was listed with the realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Then they dropped it to like 35, 29, 25, just the increments till it got down to like 19 or something. And I came in and I offered them like, I mean, it was sickening when I said it. I offered them $3,700.
Okay. So you
And she was
offered.
like, no, no. And I said, just tell the seller. And she calls me back an hour, like, hey, do you remember me? He said he'll do 6,500, and I was like, all right, deal.
Okay, countered at 6,500. I mean, yeah, it even made you sick to make such a lowball offer.
The first time I ever met Walter and Cindy, that's the one thing I learned from them is if your offers aren't making you sick to your stomach, they're not low enough.
That's awesome. All right, so you got it for 6,500. So then what's the deal here? So what's your play?
I put it out for seller financing for 35,000.
Okay, so with any no rehab?
Yep, no rehab as is. It's in decent condition. It's not beautiful. Like it's not the house I would live in.
Mm-hmm.
But for some people it's good enough. And I rent houses that are in a little bit better shape than that up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's livable. It's not terrible. I mean, it just really needs paint and carpet, and I think there's a broken window in the kitchen.
So you put all cash down then, right? 6,500
Yeah.
all
Well, no, no,
cash.
I borrowed the cash
Okay,
also. I got
so
no money in the deal.
oh, okay. So you borrowed the money, and what are you paying your investor on this?
Well, I actually I pitched one of my buddies about it. Um, he's into venture capital, and he loved the idea of me getting a lot of these houses,
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of notes and selling a large portfolio of notes like that.
Right.
He was like, let's just try it a few times and see how we can do it. I mean, because I was excited about it. I think it is a good system and it's working well for me so far. 2/3 of the way into one deal, but
Yeah, yeah. Um, and so are you just paying him half the deal, or I mean,
yeah,
what's
that's
your
all I got to do is I got to pay him back what we started with, so that his cash gets made first. He makes his money back, so we're all in for like $7,300 with closing costs,
mm-hmm.
and the cost of me putting out a little bit of marketing were $7,300.
Right.
So he gets his 7,300 back, and then we split everything over the top of that.
Okay, great. It's a true JV partner. So
Yep.
his money out, you split the cash flow. That's awesome. And Zach, just for a little bit of background, I mean, you're a young guy. I think this is really inspiring. Can you give me just a super short walnut size, like what are you doing and what were you doing before and all that? I mean, you're a buy and hold guy. You're not even 30 yet, are you?
No, I'm 23.
He's 23. you're yeah, like my youngest kid. So but yeah, I mean, so how did you get involved in just starting to, you were doing some wholesaling or something, I remember from your story when we were at Jim's mastermind the other at Tom Olson's.
Yeah, before I was in real estate, I was in college and I was a writer or something. And I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and I was like, I was making 30 bucks an hour, so that was good for college, but I was like, this is still work. I don't want to be doing any work. That's the goal of everything I do is to try to do as little as possible. Or at least do all the hard work now so I can do less and less later.
Right, right. So the freedom
I was actually
lifestyle.
telling one of my buddies that came and visited me for Thanksgiving about this whole thing that I'm doing with my virtual assistants, and he thought I was an absolute nut. Like it didn't make any sense.
Didn't at all, huh?
Yeah.
That's fabulous. So that's really inspiring. So I'm really glad that you will let me record this and share it with people. All right, so you're gonna sell it. So they were dropping the price. Why do you think they didn't get somebody else to buy it? Just because they started down that spiral? I mean, really, do you think what do you think it is worth? I know it's worth 35 if you're gonna carry, but what if you turned it around for cash? What do you think someone would pay for it?
I don't know. It's kind of one of those markets where I don't, so the price range is so low. I don't know if the banks loan in that kind of price range, like a loan less than 50,000.
Right, like another investor probably as a rental is what I'm guessing is like a buyer for this generally,
Yeah,
or
that's what I was making the marketing to.
uh-huh.
But then the people so I've had three people put in applications so far.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, two. I'm waiting on another one. And they have both been people that wanted to live there. I haven't had any investors call me actually
Okay, so
about.
basically, owner will carry advertising, and you've had three responses. Three people fill out applications,
Three
right?
responses. So
Oh,
in the
responses.
last, I put the marketing out on last Saturday, not this one, but the previous one. And then
So
I
10
realized I
days or
had in the
so.
wrong Craigslist for down there because I was like, man, only two people have called me. I put it in the right Craigslist. I
Uh-huh.
had 50 people call me last week, Dawn, and my phone is still blowing up. Like everybody wants to see this house. They love the idea of the financing.
Yeah. So, and does it seem like you're getting qualified people that have some down payment?
Well, so I'm asking for part of this course is to ask for a little bit less in down payment. Like, so I told everybody I was asking for 1,000 to 3,000 down.
Mm-hmm.
And the best person I've got right now gets they have 1,500 to put down.
Okay. So, and you're asked. So that's your best one so far.
Yeah.
All right. Just so I'm gonna just bring people along here. Let me pull up the calculator. So just so so when Larry's teaching low down payment, what is his thinking on that? Because from a traditional note creation, you're always trying to get the highest you can. But what is Larry's perspective on that?
I think it's just that a lot of these people don't down there, they don't have that kind of cash.
Right,
Like
they just don't have it. Yeah.
it's just that kind of area where they have a low medium income. Like I think their average I have all these stats somewhere, but their average like, income per month is something like it's like 25 to 35,000. I mean per year, 25 to 35,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's a I wouldn't say it's a depressed area. It's just they don't make a lot of money down there.
Right. So 35,000. You got someone who's got 15. Basically, well, what would this property rent for? I mean, just like for a benchmark.
I went to Rent a Meter and I found out that three bedrooms around there I think they were renting for like, it was like $667 a month or something like that.
So basically, 1,500 is first, last, and security deposit. Not even, right?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't
So
think about it that
so
way.
basically, they're getting ownership for rent. So how are you protecting yourself? Because if you have to foreclose on these people, it ends up being a loser. So what's your deal structure here?
Well, that's true. Like, I mean, like I said, everything's gone smooth the first two-thirds of the way. I guess this is why I called you because I want to make a valuable note, and I know that if I did it by myself, it might not be
No,
as
I
valuable.
no no. I'm and please, there's no judgment here. I'm just asking, just because, uh, just wondering because if you ended up and I totally get lowering the underwriting. It's just gonna potentially cost you down the road. And in fact, I was telling Larry this when on the boat, and I said, I've got a small portfolio of this kind of paper, and when they're putting, if they're putting to 5 to 10% down, that green paper